Hey, I'm the Tax Cat. Today we're going to talk about 1099s because I love discussing 1099s. I'm here with Brett, who is the 1099 expert, although he would say this is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and so he's not an expert in this regard. But today we're talking about 1099s. So Brett, 1099s, if I'm a church, do I have to fill out do I have to send a 1099?
Possibly if you make payments that require a 1099 during the course of the calendar year, Tax Cat.
Okay, so how do I figure that out?
Well, two most common boxes filled out. If you got your 1099 miscellaneous, that's the most common form you're going to use. And most generally, if you make payments of rents during the tax year, $600 or more, or payments for non-employee compensation for services during the tax year, Tax Cat, calendar year, I should say, because they're really based on a calendar year, of $600 or more, you need to send a 1099 to those individuals who you pay rents and or non-employee compensation. That includes churches. And it's often overlooked by churches, and they can get in pretty serious trouble for not filing their 1099s if the tax authorities learn about it.
Do most churches do this properly?
The answer is no, most do not. So that's why we created a course on 1099 basics at overnightaccountant.com for small businesses, business owners in general, but also that includes churches because churches need to be aware of this. And it's important for several reasons. Not only does it keep you out of trouble, but the IRS knows that when you don't send those 1099s in, the individuals who you pay during the year are far less likely to report their income, which means there's less tax being paid, which means everybody else has to pay more to make up for those who don't pay their fair share. So, very important to send those 1099s, Tax Cat.
Okay, so recapping, most churches don't fill out 1099s properly. Most of them need to. We created a course for this specific purpose, and we're going to link to that course below. Anything else?
I think that's it. File your 1099, stay out of trouble. The penalties. We'll talk about the penalties?
We can do that later. Nah, let's talk about penalties. What's the penalty?
Well, the penalty can be up to, get this, $500 per form. It's over $500. This is adjusted for inflation. I think right now it's $530 if you intentionally disregard the penalties, meaning you now know about these rules and you're not following them. And not only can it be applied to the church itself, it can also be applied, it can be applied for the church for not sending it to the IRS, but also it can be applied to the same church for not mailing the same form to the recipient who should have received it. So the penalty per 1099 is, guess what? Right now, up to $1,060 for each 1099.
That's significant.
Scary, Tax Cat.
Okay, so to recap, once again, this is our second recap. 1099s are important. Most churches don't fill them out properly. There's a large penalty. Potentially large penalty. Any penalty is large when it comes to a church, probably. There's a large penalty, potentially. That's hard to say. And we created a course, which they can find the link to below. Fill them out.
Do it.